A South African woman has become the first African to swim the Kaiwi Channel in Hawaii. The passage is also known as the Valley of Bones. Sarah Ferguson joins us now from our Durban studios. Sarah, thank you so much for joining us this afternoon, and congratulations on what you've achieved. Now, many of us have never even heard of the Valley of Bones. What are the challenges tackling a course of this nature?
It's actually known as the Channel of Bones. There are a few challenges, obviously. Obviously, it's a 42-kilometer channel between two islands, and there's a lot of marine life in the area. So things like sharks, jellyfish, Portuguese men of war are all the marine life that are dangerous that you can encounter. And then on top of that, you've got big swells. There's a big change in depth along the way, where it changes from like 700 meters to 70 meters, which creates big currents and swells as well that you have to try and swim against. So there are a couple of things that are challenging, which is why it's known as the Channel of Bones.
So, Sarah, what toll does this take on your body and your mind in some ways?
It's quite a big toll. Obviously, you get quite dehydrated. The water's very salty over there, so you've got to make sure that you're eating and drinking regularly throughout the swim. Mentally, you've got to be in the right headspace from way before the actual swim, just to know that you can believe in yourself to do it. And then along the way, as you encounter different things and different challenges, you've got to be able to dig deep and remember why you're doing it, because it does take its toll. And when you're feeling seasick or you're vomiting and you're in the dark and you can't see, that's when you've got to try and get your mind in the right place to overcome what you're physically feeling.
Now, this interests me that you decided to swim it at night. Why is that?
Because it's such a long swim, the shortest time it's ever taken anyone is 12 hours. But the finish of the swim is traditionally quite a big shore break with a reef underneath. So you don't really want to finish that at dark because you can't see where you're going. So they start at night so that you eliminate that risk of finishing at night. Although some people have ended up swimming for over 24 hours and then they have to finish in the dark. But luckily I managed to finish when it was still daylight.
Wow. Well, what sort of support team and sponsorship do you need to pull off a swim of this nature?
It's a huge undertaking in terms of the cost involved and the finances just to get across there. I mean, Hawaii's on the other side of the world, so it's the furthest we can go from Durban. So the whole trip was pretty much self-funded. I did a lot of fundraising beforehand, which was challenging. And then I took two people from Durban as my support team on the day. I took a guy called John McCarthy, who was responsible to go on the boat next to me in the kayak. He paddled next to me. And then Sarah Houston was my feeder and coach on the day, and she was responsible to feed me every half an hour. And then there's a much bigger team outside of that that's been journeying with me for the last 4 years in the training, ranging from personal biokineticists and physios, massage therapists, dietitians, psychologists, and a whole lot of friends and family. So it's a huge team that's involved in supporting this kind of thing.
Sarah, you also did this for a really good cause. What was the message you wanted to send out by doing this particular swim?
Yeah, so my main incentive or drive behind it was just to create awareness about the issue of plastic, and specifically single-use plastic. So I did the swim to try and to use that as a platform to be able to speak out on the issue and hopefully make a real change and make some changes around the issue. We've started an organisation called Breathe as well, which we are busy doing stuff with around the issue of plastic. So that was my main driving factor behind the swim.
Oh, that's fantastic, and congratulations once again on doing so well. Endurance swimmer Sarah Ferguson joining us from our Durban studios. Sport and weather when afternoon news continues. Stay with us.